the Zags and Purdue.
Roxy, thank you very much. We are just getting going here across the way from you guys. A 3-0 lead for Gonzaga on a three-pointer by Drew Timme. And Timme, All-America candidate. Zach Edey coming out of the gate this year, Jay, like he might be an All-America candidate as well.
Well, Zach Edey has been fantastic this season. He's being guarded by Anton Watson. Watson's given up a lot of size, but he's got really good mobility and great hands. It also keeps Drew Timme away from picking up unnecessary fouls. So Timme's guarding Mason Gillis, more of a perimeter player.
The starting five for the Zags, who defeated Portland State 102-78 last night. Julian Strother, a terrific all-around talent for them. And on the other side, it revolves around Edey. But again, two talented freshman point guards and then two great blenders, if you will, in Gillis and Morton, both of whom were great last night against West Virginia.
Boy, Nolan Hickman on that last play with a really good drive and lofting it over Zach Edey. Great start for him.
Morton misses the three.
Gonzaga's got to make Zach Edey run. I think they have to attack him. Put him in as many ball screens as you can, and then attack off those screens.
Edey 7'4", 290. He is the tallest player in Big Ten history, and with Travion Williams leaving the program last year, Edey now, instead of playing 19 minutes a game as he did last year, he's up to almost 30 minutes a game so far this year. Nice soft touch there by Nolan Hickman. And Edey down the floor, and Timme got it clean.
Last year when Drew Timme was criticized a little bit for his defense, he said he had a great defensive game right when we were in Vegas, and he said, "I'm Dennis Rodman." Who's he going to be now, Olajuwon? What a great block against the 7'4" Zach Edey.
Timme 6'10". Wide open Gillis. And Purdue getting some really good looks from beyond the arc in the early going, but unable to knock them down.
And Gillis knocked those down last night against West Virginia.
Nice little runner there by Strother. Gonzaga by 4.
And that's where Gonzaga has to be efficient in the open floor in transition. And in part, they want to do that to run Zach Edey, make him get up and down the floor.
He gets a touch, but it's out above the elbow. Again, Watson on him. Edey likes to get as close as he can get. His go-to move, a jump hook over the left shoulder. Lawyer has it rejected, but a foul is called.
Not sure whether that went against Strother or somebody reaching in. Strother got him with the body. Turn in the corner, then Morton gets out of the way. Yeah, that had to be on Strother. I'll tell you what, Anton Watson on Zach Edey. He's given up a ton of size, but Watson has unbelievable hands. So I think you're going to see him at times be able to knock that ball away, or at least give him an opportunity to knock that ball away from Edey, make it difficult.
And they have had clean looks from outside as Lawyer goes to the line. This is Fletcher Lawyer, younger brother of former Michigan State Spartan Foster Lawyer, who's now lighting it up at Davidson. He splits a pair. 7 field goal attempts for Purdue so far, Jay. 6 of them have been three-point attempts.
Yeah, and Mason Gillis is coming off a really good game against West Virginia at 14 points, 5 rebounds, a couple of steals, knocked down his open shots. He's missed the open shots thus far in the game.
Gillis out, and 6'10" sophomore Caleb First into the game. Timme sees a double team. Rasir Bolton too strong on the 3. Rebound Boilermakers.
Boy, if you double team Timme and you are not good in your rotations, Rasir Bolton is going to have a field day.
Morton short from the corner. Another three-point attempt for Purdue.
Yeah, Purdue's got to mix in some shot fakes and drives.
Timme the kick. Hickman the 3. Count it.
Well, Hickman got off to such a great start with that drive and score over Edey. Yeah, I think if you give Nolan Hickman some time to mature into this role as the leader and point guard, he's going to mature into an outstanding player and a great option.
And here's a touchdown low for Edey, but he gets called for the offensive foul.
Boy, big time play there by Anton Watson. When the ball went inside, he jumped to that left shoulder of Zach Edey.
Edey's also known as the Big Maple, being Canadian, one of his nicknames, kind of a natural fit. And Again, it remains to be seen how much these two guys are actually on one another. Each coach can kind of get bigger, get smaller, but we've seen Watson guarding Edey for the most part, and now Edey is on Watson with First covering Timmy.
I can't imagine they're going to be on one another unless it's on a switch or coming over as a weak side defender. Timmy's too valuable in the offensive end to risk fouls.
Cut off by First. And that will go. Timmy off to a terrific start, and you really couldn't script a better 4 or 5 minutes for Gonzaga than what Mark Few's gotten so far.
His offensive game, Drew Timmy's, if he was a restaurant, he'd have like a 7-page menu with pictures on it. He's just got so many things he can go to. I thought it was so amazing when they played Kentucky that Mark Few had him in the middle of the floor against Oscar Tshiebwe. Basically went all playground on Kentucky.
Rasir Bolton is called for the offensive foul as Lawyer steps in to take the charge.
Well, Drew Timme, not known as a three-point shooter. Mason Gillis gave him just a little bit of space, and then this block. That's gonna be a lot of highlights, and then drawing 3 defenders and kicking it out to Nolan Hickman, who's off to a great start. Knocked down that 3, got the shot to go over Zach Edey, and then the screen and then the short roll. Oftentimes, big guys, they're gonna roll all the way to the basket, but that short roll, he can stop on a dime and still make that shot.
Nolan Hickman just took a charge. David Jenkins Jr., a senior, a transfer from Utah, just into the game for the Boilermakers, is called for the offensive foul. Brandon Newman is coming off the bench for Matt Painter as well.
I thought Brandon Newman had a great game against West Virginia. Only had 8 points, but I thought his defense against the Mountaineers was outstanding. Now he's on Rasir Bolton.
Also Jay Edey to the bench. Trey Kaufman-Wren, a redshirt freshman from Sellersburg, Indiana, had a nice game last night against West Virginia. He's in, but things change without Edey. Corner 3, too strong, and a really nice rebound by Newman.
Newman walked with it, but they didn't call it because they would have had to call a foul. He just got bumped a little bit. All in all, a really good no call.
First, he can shoot it from out there, slipped and gets it back. The floor a little bit more spread without Edey in the game as Purdue continues to take a lot of threes, but they're only 1 for 8 from out there.
David Jenkins Jr. is a good shooter. It seems like Purdue's just a little bit out of sync. They're in a hurry right now, and they don't need to be.
A pro-Gonzaga crowd for the most part. Of course, we are here in the Pacific Northwest in Portland, and boy, Zag fans have traveled from all around the area, and how can you blame them with the kind of success that Mark Few has had in his 24 years as the head coach of the Zags. He's made the NCAA tournament every year there has been an NCAA tournament, went to the national championship game on a couple of occasions. Matt Painter in his 18th season as the head coach of the Boilermakers, 13 tournament appearances, 6 Sweet 16s, 1 Elite 8. Hickman open.
Can't go underneath on Hickman. He'll pull the trigger and make it most of the time. How did he split that?
Evidently by traveling, but he split it before he traveled.
He traveled after.
Yeah, I know. Well, he's got great footwork, right?
Just amazing footwork, but you got to tighten those traps up. Just a little bit of space, maybe got away with a little chicken wing, just shuffled the feet just a tad, which he normally doesn't do. Purdue needs to get something going toward the paint, the basket here. There's been an awful lot of jump shots. They haven't put a lot of pressure on the rim. And I think the more they can put Drew Timme in ball screens, the better it's going to be for him.
The drive by Lawyer, but too strong off the glass, and the Boilermakers now 1 for 11 from the field. Malachi Smith into the game for the Zags. The transfer from Chattanooga, the SoCon Player of the Year last year. Watson short on the 3, and the ball down to Purdue.
Watson can make that shot, just not sure there is the right call.
Lawyer can make that shot, and they needed that one.
Boy, it's amazing, Dan, after a questionable shot, how often the other team comes down, either gets a layup or scores.
So it is 12-7 Zags. Off the rim for Strother, first the rebound. Smith, Mr. Basketball in the state of Indiana a year ago, misses the layup, and back come the Zags.
Boy, how many layups has Purdue missed in this game? Good fake.
And an equally good kick. Salas misses the three. Tipped out by Watson. Strother. Yes.
There are those hands by Anton Watson. Can't grab the rebound, but has the presence to knock it back out where a teammate is most likely to be able to get it.
Gonzaga by 7, just over 8 minutes into this semifinal matchup.
Hunter Salas guarding Braden Smith, and Salas coming off what I think might have been his best game of the year against Portland State. He was terrific.
Gonzaga last night against the Vikings, 24 assists to just 11 turnovers. That's been a problem for them in the early going, turning it over too much. Purdue turns it over here. Strother, the shot will not count.
Malachi Smith ran over Lawyer. A lot of people want to run over lawyers, and I don't understand it.
Zach Edey has returned now for Purdue, and the biggest guy on the floor right now for the Zags is 6'10", 230 sophomore Ben Gregg from nearby Clackamas, Oregon, just about 10 miles southeast of here. And right now his job is making things tough on Edey.
Yeah, Mark Few can throw a lot of bodies at Zach Edey. I have to think that Efton Reed is going to be on him at some point. Here's a little cross screen. And Ben Gregg not letting him get to it.
They're not even getting Edey any touches hardly at all in the, say, 5 minutes he's been in the game tonight. So everything around the perimeter. Newman misses the three. Hoffman ran the rebound. Smith for three. Whoa, wow. Big collision. It'll be Purdue ball as Newman and Strother and a bunch of fans down there in the first row. Didn't spill a drop, Jay.
Everybody hanging on to their beers.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they might have spilled
a little.
Either they spilled a drop or somebody needs to see a doctor.
All right, well, can't blame them. Can't blame them.
Dan Shulman with the early call. Nobody spilled a drop.
Upon further review, they may have to go to the monitor on this one. Well, they all gave a great effort, the players and the fans.
More of a sacrifice on the fan part, I would say. Yeah. Got to go back to the concession stand. That's why they invented lids.
Well, they'll have a story.
And he's still keeping it. That cup is looks like a crashed car.
Yeah. All right. Everybody cleaned up, ready to go. Purdue basketball. Ryan Waddell has checked in for the Boilermakers, a 6'8" redshirt freshman from Carmel, Indiana, number 11. Here he comes. Guy who tore his ACL and MCL, missed all of last year. Edey a touch. Edey a finish.
That's much better action. They ran cutters off of Zach Edey, and that allowed him to get an angle to the basket.
Edey shooting 63% from the field, and you can understand why. All kinds of high percentage looks, and averaging better than 21 points per game in 29 minutes per game.
Now watch, Matt Painter moves Zach Edey up top, and then he sets a couple of screens for two different cutters, and that gives him an angle on Ben Gregg to the basket. They just throw over the top. Rolling him down into the post is going to be much more effective than starting him down there.
Air ball on the three by Trey Kaufman-Renn. Zags in transition. These two teams play at very different paces. Gonzaga among the top 20 fastest tempoed teams in America. Purdue down near the bottom in the 300s. As an easy lane to the basket there for Hunter Salas to lay it in.
Much improved. Always been a really good on-ball defender. He's an elite athlete, but he has really improved his shot. He's slowed his game down. Hunter Salas getting better and better as his career progresses.
Edey again. Gets Gregg in the air, but Gregg came down clean on the block. And they don't stop the ball. Malachi Smith misses the three. And another rebound for Newman, who's all over the place right now. A little bit crowded down there, so Edey backs out of the paint. Nice moves by Kaufman-Renn.
Kaufman-Renn has great feet. He can score in the post, the mid-post. He's just a versatile talent.
Greg can shoot it from out there. Gives it off to Smith. He might get it back. Here he goes. Just missed.
Another rebound from. Oh, ball went out of bounds.
Matt Painter doing some pacing in the early going. Purdue is undefeated on the season, 4-0, moved into the rankings this week. They have defeated Milwaukee, Austin Peay, Marquette, and then West Virginia last night. Gonzaga is 4-1. Their lone loss was down in Austin when Texas really put it to them, beat them by 19.
It's kind of remarkable that Purdue's only down 5 right now. It seems like they've missed 800 perimeter shots, but they're hanging in there.
Strother, tough shot, and I think Waddell might have gotten a piece of that, and here comes Smith. He's got Lawyer with him, but the Zags get back.
Boy, nice job by Bolton to really stick with and deny Fletcher Lawyer.
Here comes the double team. Left hand too strong.
But Ben Gregg has really used his body well. Hunter Salas came over late to bother Zach Edey.
Now Timmy wants a touch.
When is that not true? Tough matchup for Mason Gillis to have to guard him down the low post.
Gregg for 3. Well short. Salas short again. And that won't count.
Looks like they got a push perhaps on Gregg.
And it is Gregg called for the foul. He'll come out, and now here comes Efton Reed. You spoke of him. Efton Reed, the third, 7-foot sophomore, a transfer from LSU.
Another big body that's a rim protector and has great length at the 5 spot.
So that's Reed becomes the third different guy to cover Edey, and none of them are Drew Timme. Mark Few's got a lot of different bodies he can put on Edey without putting Timme in that kind of a spot.
Yeah, I think that's a trend that should continue.
And they've done a good job. Edey has not had a field day getting touches down there. Lawyer creates some space and buries the 3.
Looked like he gave a little elbow to Rasir Bolton, got him to back off, gave him the space to just step back and hit that 3.
Got him right in the nose, and Bolton's still feeling it. Timme with a size advantage on Gillis.
And he wants Bolton out of there so he can't be doubled. Good fake.
Salas from the baseline. No basket. Foul on Timme.
Bodies are flying.
And Purdue is right back in this game in front of a festive crowd here in Portland.
Matt Painter addressing rhythm and shot selection with his team. He really wants his guys to move it, and I love what he said confidently. He said, look, we have proven we can get open shots. Just relax, move the ball, be direct with it.
Well, there's a lot going on in both huddles right now. A high-level basketball game. 7:18 left to go in the first half. Gonzaga leading by only 2 after just about everything that could go wrong for Purdue did go wrong in the first 6 or 7 minutes.
Well, Purdue was in such a hurry early on. Great angle to the basket. That was beautiful. They got it to a position where Zach Edey could move his assignment up the lane. They could just throw over the top. Matt Painter eliminating all help.
Lawyer almost had a steal, but it bounces back to the Zags. Strother misses the 3, and Edey with a rebound.
Now Gonzaga relying a lot on the 3-point shot.
And Purdue with its first lead of the night.
Using Zach Edey, setting that high ball screen in transition. Little drag rub right in the middle of the floor, opened it up for Braden Smith.
Smith, a guy not really recruited by a lot of high major teams, as Edey swats that one away, and he is really getting it involved now, Jay, at both ends.
The long arm of the law there. Rasir Bolton, who has really good speed, just blew by Lawyer. He comes from behind there just to wipe that away. And that's a beautiful angle from which to feed the post. All you have to do is throw it up. There's no way for weak side help to get there. Easy bucket by doing a hard thing well.
Good defense there by Morton as Strother picks up his dribble. Now Watson driving on Edey. The cutter is Timmy, and he's tripped.
Yeah, with Edey back there, I mean, we want to play good, hard defense, but when you have that eraser back there, you just don't want to foul there. Make Timmy make a shot over Zach Edey.
Again, Edey's minutes significantly increased this year with no Travion Williams in the program anymore. So from about 19-20 a game up to more like 29 or 30. Timmy sneaks inside on the offensive glass and ties the game.
Kept it high and released it quickly. But Dan, that last shot by Rasir Bolton is going to be there. You put Zach Edey into that sort of ball screen action. He's playing drop coverage, which means he's behind the ball screen, down more in the middle of the lane. And you're going to be able to stop and pop from that distance.
Edey with Watson on him, and the jump hook is good. That's his go-to move.
When he can turn over that left shoulder, he is really, really good. He can make it over the right, but he's much better over the left. Good pass out.
Bolton open in the corner for three.
Just moving it to the other side of the floor, and Rasir Bolton does not need much time at all to get that shot off.
The lead trading hands now, trip by trip. Look at this position.
How are you going to stop that? That's like playing for Anton Watson. That's like playing against your dad in the driveway when you're 8. Getting the ball as soon as he gets positioned that deep. You don't want to say it's over, but it's close to being over.
And I would imagine, Jay, if you were to go to a Purdue practice, that they work on feeding the post about as much as any team in America.
They should.
Yeah.
He's got that kind of weapon, and he's a good passer out of the post as well. Great rebound by Gillis.
Blocked by Gregg. Nice minutes off the bench by Ben Gregg for the Zags tonight. It'll stay with Gonzaga.
I think Braden Smith's trying to say, I never touched it, man. He just mishandled it. And I think he did. I didn't see Braden Smith come near that ball.
Nolan Hickman to inbound. Hickman into the paint.
Nice move.
Couldn't knock it down. Gillis the rebound.
Lucky he didn't get a push off there.
And then Smith buries the three. We mentioned not really recruited by a lot of high major teams. More like Montana, App State was starting to get interest, but the first big time offer he got was from Purdue, and being an in-state kid, he took it, and aren't they glad about that?
Yeah, I think there are going to be a lot of Big Ten teams over the years that would wish he went to Montana.
How about Timmy over a couple of defenders, including Edey?
He took it toward the baseline knowing he was going to spin back.
Good show there by Gregg. Now Timmy finds himself on Edey.
I'd go just to make Timmy guard him.
No double team, and Edey scores again.
Timmy got caught picking him up as the roller, had to put his arms around him, and Purdue smart enough to get the ball inside. I'd throw it to him just to make Timmy guard him. 8
now for Edey. Bolton. Too strong. He stepped away from Edey, created the space, but he was off balance.
Yeah, don't tell me he didn't feel those footsteps.
Morton inside, draws a foul on Strother. Zach Edey's mom, Julia, looking on. Her son is starting to get involved. He's now got 8 points, the high score in the game for the Boilermakers.
And Ethan Morton going to the free throw line. How good was he against West Virginia? Made so many heady plays. Morton had 9 assists against the Mountaineers, not a single turnover, when the rest of his teammates turned it over 18 times in that game against West Virginia.
.67 junior from Butler, PA. And now he will come out. Brandon Newman back in for the Boilermakers.
It was a fair point made out of the studio with Zach Edey when he gets back into the ballgame. Does Gonzaga, does Mark Few bring more double teams at him? One of the interesting things about Edey is the way he passes out of those double teams, and at times he can face into the double team and throw over it, and not jumping to throw over it. He just throws right over it to the opposite side. He can be difficult to double team.
Timmy over first, and a trio of Boilermakers there. It's Jenkins with a rebound.
Caleb First did a really nice job of timing his jump, stayed strong and walled up. I'm not sure whether he got a piece of it, but he certainly bothered it. Now Timmy's got to guard out on the perimeter.
And First a stretch big, a much different kind of guy than Edey is, obviously. Lloyd shut down on the baseline.
You have to attack the basket here. Can't settle for a jumper.
Newman does.
Offensive.
And knocks it in. I thought I heard a whistle too.
I did too. I thought they would have called an offensive foul because he lowered that shoulder.
Bolton in some trouble. Timmy misses the three. Hit one earlier tonight.
Boy, a lot of three-point shots for Gonzaga. That's not one. Mark Few's not going to do much about it. But I don't think he wanted Timmy to pull the trigger on that one. He's got the right to improvise given how much he's done.
Lawyer gets himself free, misses the three, and Timmy down with a rebound.
Boy, what great hands to be able to corral that.
Purdue on a 6-0 run, leading by 6 after trailing early in the game. Malachi Smith, no, as Gonzaga's gone cold.
For a good part of the game, it's been 1 and out.
Gonzaga led by as many as 8 early in the game. It's Purdue by 6 right now.
Well, Purdue has really fought, and they've done it with an inspired defensive effort.
Kaufman-Renn off the glass and good, and the lead grows to 8. Timeout, Mark Few.
Boy, how good is Kaufman-Renn out of the post? Has anybody held Gonzaga under 30 in the first half this year?
I would be very surprised. This is, statistically, per KenPom, Gonzaga the #1 offensive team, the #1 offensive efficiency in the nation coming into this game tonight. That 3 for Hickman gives them 26.
A little better rhythm off that. They got a piece of the paint, then kicked it out for a step-in 3 that was comfortable. I mean, Purdue has really disrupted Gonzaga's rhythm, and this game is all about rhythm. Establishing a rhythm on offense and then disrupting your opponent's rhythm.
First, it won't go, but he draws a foul. And if it's Strother, it'll be number 2 on him.
Purdue is really doing a good job of putting Gonzaga in situations where they can post multiple players. They posted Trey Kaufman-Renn. They just posted Caleb First. And you're putting guys that don't normally guard in the post into the post to defend. And Bo Ryan, even when he was with Wisconsin Platteville, remember when he would post all his guards? And he used to think, and still does, I'm sure, that guarding in the post is the toughest thing. One-on-one in the post is the toughest thing to guard in basketball.
And as a result, a number of Zags have picked up some fouls. Nothing too problematic at this point of the game, but Strother's got 2, Watson's got 2, Gregg's got 2, with less than a minute to go here in the first half. Edey has remained on the bench the last 3.5 minutes or so.
Yeah, foul trouble, problematic foul trouble is like surgery. It's only problematic if it's somebody else, if it's you instead of somebody else.
Yeah. Hickman into Timmy for an easy 2.
Yeah, Gonzaga, and it was true of Purdue early on in the game, but for most of the first half, Gonzaga has settled for jump shots.
And Purdue's going to hold the ball for a while here, about a 3.5-second difference between the game clock and the shot clock.
They can actually hold it all the way down. It'll give them time for an offensive rebound, but perhaps not enough time for Gonzaga to take it the other way.
Smith needs some help, finds First. Shot clock at 3. Kaufman-Renn gets it off, got the rim, ball's loose. And the first half comes to a close with Purdue once trailing by 8 in the early going and unable to knock down a shot. They go on a 15-3 run to end the first half and go to the locker room leading favored Gonzaga by 5 here in Portland. The Let's go to Brooke Weisbrod, who's with Matt Painter.
Coach, you talked about finding that rhythm in the timeout. Then you went down the stretch and really dominated the rest of the half. How did you guys find your rhythm?
Well, I thought we missed some open shots to start the game, but I also thought we rushed some shots. We just got to take what they give us, try to get Zach going a little bit more. I thought defensively we did some really good things, trying to give a lot of attention to Drew, trying to give a lot of attention to their shooters. I don't think we can hold them to 28 points again in the second half, but I thought our guys did a really good job from a game plan standpoint, and defensively, we just got to be better on the offensive end.
Thanks, Coach.
0 transition points. I've never seen a Gonzaga game with 0 transition points.
Edey on Watson. Gillis on Timmy. The first possession for the Zags.
There's a cut.
Strother tries to dribble it out of there. Somehow gets it back. The ball is still loose, and it'll get tied up and go over to Purdue. Brooke Weisbrod had a chance to visit with Mark Few during halftime.
Well, Coach Few liked his pace. He said it got better, but we have to take better shots. And Jay, to your point about moving the ball, he said right now we're taking pull-up jumpers and threes instead of taking what we call 80%ers and shots. Then he was visibly frustrated, and he said, I feel like the first time in 15 years our team didn't shoot a free throw in the entire first half.
Yeah, that's in large measure because they just didn't attack. They're doubling the post, and there he is just throwing right over the top of it.
And do they get something out of it on this possession? They will not.
Yeah, Fletcher Lawyer, I think, was thinking about the shot instead of just make the catch first. Maybe not the best pass either.
Hickman at the point, the sophomore for Gonzaga.
Mason Gillis on Drew Timmy.
Now the double team by Edey.
Boy, that's a big double team.
It's a triple team.
When have you seen a 7-footer come over, a 7'4" guy come over to double?
It leaves Watson open in the corner. He misses the three. And a great hustle play there by Smith to tap it ahead to Edey.
The wrong guys are shooting threes for Gonzaga.
Wide open Lawyer. Count it.
I consider that shot by Anton Watson to be a bad one. And you take a bad shot, it leads to a good shot in transition for your opponent.
Because as you said last night in the Purdue game, what do they call that kind of a shot in the Lawyer family?
A layup.
That's right. Whether it's Fletcher or Foster. By the way, Purdue plays Davidson in a couple of weeks, so the two Lawyer brothers will be on opposite sides as Timmy reverses it up and in.
Well, you can't let him go baseline out of a double team. That's just a mistake by Mason Gillis. You gotta lock down. You got Zach Edey. You know he's not going to go the other way. You got Zach Edey there.
Morton baseline. Stolen away by Hickman. Gets it back from Timmy. Timmy spinning and converting.
The first transition basket of the game for Gonzaga because they did it off a great defensive possession.
And the Zag fans in the house, and they are by far the majority, of course, here in the Pacific Northwest, getting into it. Edey a miss. Bolton for three. 7-0 run Gonzaga to get them back within one.
Not rocket science, is it? You play great defense, you give yourself a chance to take it the other way where you don't have to play against a set defense.
Smith doesn't get the bucket, but he does draw the foul.
Timmy going right past Mason Gillis on the baseline side. Got to tighten that up if you're Purdue. And then a terrific defensive possession puts Gonzaga out in transition. Great spin through two defenders. And then passing ahead, Rozier Bolton. I'm not sure how many guys set their feet quicker in transition.
Meanwhile, the foul goes on Anton Watson, his third. Timmy, a very sociable kind of guy, and he and Edey have been talking all night long.
It's like a first baseman talking up the base runner.
You're exactly
it's amazing.
Right. Yeah. 3-point lead, Purdue. Hickman for three. Edey got the ball much more consistently last night than he's been getting it tonight, but with all the attention paid to him, Lawyer gets free for a layup.
But Lawyer really moves well without the ball.
And I'll tell you, Bolton's speed, he really forces you to get back on defense at the other end, doesn't he?
Like Braden Smith was on, got switched off on Drew Timme. Gonzaga didn't take advantage of it.
Hickman from the corner for three.
Well, you just can't leave him.
His third three of the night.
You got Zach Edey in the paint. There's no reason not to get out the shooters. You know, the three shooters you have to stay with for Gonzaga are Bolton, Strother, and Smith.
Morton into the paint. Up and in.
Well, how well do these guys move without the ball? It's just constant motion and cutting. And before the game, Matt Painter talked about making hard cuts, and they are doing that.
Bolton no, and Gillis will get called for the foul underneath, bodying up on Timme.
They are combined 5 of 8 from three-point range. They have been perpetual motion. And right now, Fletcher Lawyer is on Rasir Bolton. That's a big matchup.
And Mark Few's gone smaller, so Edey is on Timme. There's no Watson in the game right now, as Strother's a small ball 4. Timme tried to score over Edey, and then Bolton reaches in and fouls him.
You just have to make Timme shoot over you. It's going to be harder for Drew Timme to use his footwork to get an angle around the size of Zach Edey. And they're both laughing.
Yeah.
You know, it's amazing how you can have perspective and be a cutthroat competitor at the same time, and both those guys are.
And for most of the game, they haven't matched up on one another, but because Mark Few has downsized here, they are on each other at both ends of the floor. Jenkins, the three is short. Strother's got it.
Well, by having Timme, you know, as the lone 5-man, now you can play 4 around 1. Switched out, now you got Edey on Malachi Smith.
Smith goes by him, reverses, won't stay down. Boy, 2 pretty good looks the last 2 trips for the Zags, but both got a lot of the rim and bounced off.
I like this lineup, but if Timmy's going to guard Edey, you got to go into Edey and see if he can pick up a foul on Timme.
And usually it seems, Jay, when they get the ball to him, they get it to the wing, then they get it down to him. Now they go from up top as Lawyer picks up the assist.
I think this lineup is in for Gonzaga's offense to essentially go 4 around 1 or 5 out and try to spread the floor a little bit. Offensively, I love it, but it's going to put Drew Timme in some difficult spots, and Purdue has to take advantage of that.
No foul trouble for either big guy. They've each got one. Timme driving and scoring.
Boy, great little screen roll in the middle of the floor and a beautiful pocket pass to Timme.
Over the top, inside, nothing you can do about that. Boy, when they get the angle from the wing, sometimes it appears almost unstoppable.
Well, it is unstoppable because you've got the angle from the wing, and Matt Painter has eliminated all the weak side help. So, you know, everybody's lifted above the foul line, and all you have to do is throw it up near the rim, and there's no way that Timme can get that.
Matt Painter's been coaching big guys for a long time, right? It seems they always have a 7-footer or 2.
Yeah, but nobody's been coaching anybody this big in a long time.
Again, if you're not familiar, just joining us, Edey 7'4", 290. Timme is 6'10", 235, and Edey absolutely towers over.
You can see a staggered screen. Now that's going to allow the shot, which is beautiful by Newman. But you also had Edey in the paint. And that was a great lineup for Mark Few on offense. Not so much on defense.
A 9-2 run for the Boilermakers, and Mark Few has called a timeout.
It'll be interesting to see, you know, Mark Few going to stick with this lineup where he's got 4 perimeter players and Drew Timme. And Zach Edey taking a little bit of a rest right now, so that means Caleb First, the sophomore, is going to be guarding Drew Timme.
Let's go to Brooke.
Out of the Gonzaga huddle, they really talked about having to get behind Zach Edey. They said they can no longer front him on defense. They also want to limit threes, and and they want to stop giving up 2s for 3s. Attack and get Timmy involved.
All right, Brooke, thank you. Edey is on the bench right now. Kaufman-Renn is in. He finds Newman, who misses the 3, and Strother brings it down and kind of knocks down his own teammate in the process. Timmy, touch pass for the corner 3 for Smith.
What a great pass by Drew Timme. And Malachi Smith, who had a fantastic game against Portland State. He put up 23 points, was 5 of 5 from 3, got his feet set from the corner.
They need offense from him. They get a little defense right there on the deflection.
Boy, Drew Timme running the floor. What a great touch pass with 2 hands to Malachi Smith. Well, you talk about knowing where your teammates are. Most big guys are just struggling to make that catch, let alone make it and make that pass.
Timme now with 17 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 assists already on the night. Kaufman-Renn. And he'll go with Timme. Spins a couple of times and leaves it just short, but we got a foul.
Looks like Malachi Smith undercutting or trying to block out Caleb First. Like has Gonzaga shot a free throw yet?
They still have not. 28 minutes into the game. They have not been to the line as people have been bouncing all over the city, seeing some great college basketball over the Thanksgiving holiday.
Well, you have to give Purdue a ton of credit in this game for taking Gonzaga out of transition. I mean, when was the last time that you can remember that Gonzaga had at this point in the game only 5 fast break points? And Gonzaga usually shoots, I mean, they average 62% from 2-point range, and they just got cut up on that out-of-bounds underplay to give up a dunk to Caleb First. But this has been, Gonzaga's been made, except for a few possessions, to play in the half court all game long.
Brandon Newman the foul. Let's check out the inbounds play at the other end.
Caleb First, just the second cutter, coming in and going right by Malachi Smith. They just threw it right up to him. Really well designed to open up the middle.
First was second.
First was the second cutter.
And another foul to get Newman again. 2 consecutive fouls on Brandon Newman. Fortunately for Purdue, those are his first 2 of the night. How about Matt Painter? 18 years as head coach at Purdue. They've only had 2 head coaches in 43 seasons. The great Gene Cady for 25, and now Painter, who played for Cady, for 18. Smith, no. Rebound, Kaufman-Renn.
And 1 and out for Gonzaga. And I had an opportunity to play for the great Gene Cady on the U.S. National Select Team one summer, and he was just awesome to play for him. First time I ever had a timed water break in my life.
Edey on the bench right now for Purdue. Jenkins misses the 3. He's a guy who's been around 4 schools, has made over 300 threes. They can use offense from him. First down with a rebound for the Boilermakers.
Salas just couldn't get that to go. It was challenged, but he still should have made it. That was a poor offensive possession for Purdue when Jenkins took that challenge jump shot.
Given where we are, obviously many more Gonzaga fans than Purdue fans, but it's the Purdue fans making the noise right now.
Timme getting a little footwork of his own.
Ball's still live. And finally, a foul call going against Gonzaga as the Boilermakers are really getting after it on the offensive glass.
Well, Trey Kaufman-Renn did a great job of facing up Drew Timme, and then his footwork was terrific. And then Caleb First thought he got fouled on this shot. He just moved Julian Strother up the lane. He did get fouled, but there was still a live ball while he's complaining. Still, he gets in there and gets a second chance opportunity. But he got hacked by Drew Timme without a call.
The sophomore from Fort Wayne, Indiana, Mr. Basketball in the state in 2021, as almost a full-scale line change here for Purdue, including Zach Edey coming back into the game.
Now Timme and Edey can continue their conversation on the low block.
The foul on Timme is second. Hickman keeps the dribble alive and scores. He's had a nice game.
Played with really good pace. Got his defender on his hip and just went for that little floater. Edey was caught under the basket. Wasn't involved in that action.
Nolan Hickman now 13 points, 4 assists in the game. Edey gets it back. Double team.
Just throws right over it.
Newman deflected. Strother might have gotten a piece of it, but it's still live. And it's still live. Edey kicks it out again. And finally, Timmy corrals it for the Zags. What a sequence that was.
Point blank shots, open threes.
And in and out, a shot that had it gone down, they would have torn the roof off this place. Boy, what a swing that would have been for the Zags. Smith the handoff, and first the finish.
Boy, Braden Smith has made some big plays. Even though Purdue did not get a bucket out of it, Braden Smith was the one that kept that first offensive rebound alive down at the other end after all that offensive rebounding action. And then a great drive. Boy, he just got his bell rung.
Hunter Salas kicks it back out to Timmy.
He saw Edey cover up the sun and the rim.
Strother has been held in check tonight, just 4 points. Leaves the three short, nobody underneath for the Zags.
When was the last time Gonzaga had a rhythm jumper? It was probably Nolan Hickman in the corner off that great touch pass.
First is open and buries it. And it is the largest lead of the night for Purdue.
Boy, the ball was moving. Boy, Purdue is just fighting. But they're the ones playing with rhythm on the offensive end. And Gonzaga's looking like they're playing with a 15-second shot clock.
Lots of energy out there for the Boilermakers right now, who trailed by 8 very early in this game. So a 20-point swing, and talk about an open look for first.
Just a miscommunication between Anton Watson and Drew Timme. They both were guarding Zach Edey. And you're like, man, there's another dude out there, and his name is Caleb First.
First now with 10 on the night to go with 6 rebounds. So many of the quote-unquote complimentary players, Jay, for Purdue have played so well here in this game tonight.
Well, a couple of their starters, Fletcher Lawyer, Braden Smith, have been really good. Ethan Morton coming off the bench has been excellent. And I think Trey Kaufman-Renn has made some really big plays. Sort of his operation out of the post, the mid-post, his ability to pivot, to face up, to use his great feet. I mean, he's got Drew Timme's feet too. But just how hard Purdue is playing.
Brandon Newman's played.
Brandon Newman has had another great game after, I thought, a tremendous performance against West Virginia. This is a very balanced team. You know, it's not a team full of superstars, but I would say it's a team full of really good players that doesn't care who gets the credit, and that's a great way to play.
Matt Painter's got to be thrilled with the effort he's gotten tonight, because this has not been the usual dominant Zach Edey kind of night. He's been getting 20 and 10, 20 and 10 every game, and he still might, but he's at 12 and 5 right now, 6 for 12 from the field. So it's not like they're winning because he's dominating. He's winning because everybody on the team is contributing.
And in order to be a great team, you have to win different ways. You're not going to impose your will on every team, and this Gonzaga team, they're really good. They might not be as powerful or have the same sort of point guard play that they had last year or the year before, but they're really good. And it takes an extraordinary effort in order to beat this team.
They are 4-1 on the season. The only loss to Texas. They've beaten Michigan State. They've beaten Kentucky. And they are down a dozen right now to Purdue with 8:36 to go. Gillis on Timme. Edey on Watson.
Gonna bring Timme up to set a ball screen and fade out of it.
And Timme goes to work and scores again. Boy, he's crafty.
He's got a feel on multiple levels, not just a feel of getting the shot off, but lofting it the exact right distance to get it over the outstretched arm of Zach Edey.
Beautiful look from Smith into Edey.
Boy, it's amazing. How do you lose Zach Edey after he sets a ball screen? It seems like it's impossible to lose the guy.
Third assist of the night for Smith. Edey now with 14.
Got Braden Smith guarding Drew Timme. He's got to get the ball. Give it to him.
And Bolton does. Cross court look, Strother. They need this. They don't get it. Smith no look and off the fingertips of Gillis out of bounds. They're playing basketball out here.
Yeah, this is a really good tournament. One-on-one in the post now.
Knocked away by Strother, saved by Smith. Smith to Edey, and Edey is fouled.
Edey just rolls down the lane, and as Smith was taking the ball down toward the baseline, he just dragged Ben Gregg with him. And it's awfully difficult to ask a guard to jump in front of Zach Edey and stop that play.
And one thing Edey does well, especially for a big guy, is shoot free throws. 77% on the season, went 10 for 12 in the win over West Virginia last night. 1 of 2 here, rebound Strother.
There is not a universe in which Gonzaga goes an entire 40 minutes without shooting a free throw. I can't imagine it's gotten this far.
Timme gets the shot up but misses. Gregg on the weak side, and the first free throw's coming, and it's a chance for a three-point play for Ben Gregg.
And it comes off an and one. One of the few offensive rebounds that Purdue has allowed in this ball game. I mean, they've only allowed, what, 5 or 6 up to now. But this one hurt because it was an easy stick back.
Gregg, a talented guy, was a top 30 recruit a couple of years ago. Just has had the misfortune of playing behind even better, more experienced players. But he had some good minutes at the tail end of the win last night. And in limited minutes, he's been solid again tonight.
Well, he's really fought Zach Edey for position down low. 10 points seems like a sizable lead, but it's not. Gonzaga can eat into those things quickly. Boy, Smith had Edey wide open for a second, but that window closed.
Gillis from the corner for 3.
Gillis missed some early, but that was a beautiful pass along the baseline.
I remember them being 1 for 9 from three-point range, and they're 8 for 22 now. So at the very least, they've made 7 of their last 13.
And I don't think Timme can just stay there. Once Braden Smith clears the basket, you have to inch out to that corner shooter.
Ben Gregg giving the Zags a lift.
Boy, what is that, 6 straight points for Ben Gregg?
Yes, sir.
Who had that on their bingo board before the game started?
And he's fighting Edey with everything he's got, and he knocks it free, but Morton gets it back. Lawyer steps into a 3. Edey saves it. Fresh 20 for the Boilermakers.
Boy, when Edey goes over there, that'll make you spill your beer.
Absolutely. There will be no heroes in that situation. Boy, the building is noisy. Ben Gregg's giving the Zags a lift.
Boy, how physical is this? I mean, look. Ben Gregg knocking the ball away.
He's played great.
Impactful minutes.
Yep.
And he's fought, most important. He's not been the least bit hesitant nor afraid in this atmosphere.
And a foul and a chance for 3.
Tell you what, there's no way his first couple years Zach Edey finishes that play. He has worked and worked and worked. Got somebody hanging on his arm, knocking the ball away. He never took his eyes off the rim.
He's only really been playing basketball about 5 or 6 years. Played more baseball and hockey growing up as a kid in Toronto, and now he's gotten to the point where he's one of the best big men in the country, and he's also become a part of the Canadian national senior men's team, going to training camps and starting to play for them as well.
What's wrong with you guys up in Canada? You couldn't spot that he was a hooper from the beginning?
Smith, behind the back. What a play! I'll tell you, the freshman is having a sensational night. Greg with another three for the Zags.
Ben Greg is keeping Gonzaga in it. But what a fantastic play by Braden Smith.
Greg with the last 9 now for Gonzaga.
Smith is a baller, man. Look at the movement. They are just running Gonzaga all over the floor, including Drew Timme having to stay with Gillis.
Edey double teamed and fouled. A little too much there by Timme.
That's the problem when you put another big guy on Edey. That means that Timmy's got to chase. Boy, he took a shot too after he let the ball go. Boy, what a beautiful feed. Just not a rotation, because the other perimeter players, instead of being able to rotate down, they're chasing all these cutters, man. They got a lot going on. So you can say, hey, how come you didn't rotate down? Because I was running for my life trying to keep these other guys from getting an open three.
Boy, so many good things for Purdue. Braden Smith, 10 points, 5 assists, 1 turnover. As a freshman playing in a huge game like this, Edey is really starting to heat up, knocking down his free throws.
Well, you don't want to foul Zach Edey. And another reason other than he makes his free throws is Drew Timme has nobody to talk to on the lane.
That's right. 1 of 2. And a little frustrated with himself. Again, came into the game at 77%. But he has missed 3 tonight, 3 for 6. And it looks like they got Smith on the foul before the shot.
That's just the 6th team foul. So Gonzaga's going to have to take the ball out of bounds. But you've got Zach Edey guarding Drew Timme now, and Timme should drive him.
Gillis on Greg. Bolton. Yes, good play.
Bolton just pulled up instead of taking the ball all the way to Edey. But Gonzaga needs stops now. And you're not going to be able to trade baskets or out 3 this team. You got to get stops.
Gillis gets a clean look, and he knocks down a 3.
Just screen and roll with Edey, and it's roll replace action. As Edey rolls, Gillis replaces up.
Jump hook for Timme. But as you said, trading baskets not good enough right now for the Zags.
Well, especially when you trade 3 for Purdue for 2 for Gonzaga.
Still a dozen, 3:45 to go. And Greg a little bit too much there as he is called for the foul. And that's going to be it. Ben Gregg played great, but he just fouled out.
All he has to do is hedge there to change the direction of Smith and then recover. But what's been amazing to me has been Purdue's defensive effort against a team in Gonzaga that scores the ball so easily. And Zach Edey's had a lot of help. Fletcher Lawyer, Caleb First, Braden Smith. Brandon Newman has had really good minutes. 6 rebounds, 5 points, a couple of assists. I think Trey Kaufman-Renn has done a nice job when he's in there. He's only got 4 points and 3 rebounds, but they were impactful in his 10 minutes or so of playing time, whatever it was.
19 assists on 26 made field goals. And again, as we've talked about, Smith having just a terrific night. Now 11 points, make it 12. 12 points, 6 assists, and 1 turnover in 29 minutes tonight.
And how many miles do you think he and Fletcher Lawyer run in this game? Those guys, it's been 94 feet by 50. Those guys have probably run 6 miles apiece.
Sports Center next here on ESPN. Hickman wide right on the 3. And how many bumps, how many times have we seen Smith go flying too? He's taking a lot of punishment tonight. He keeps getting back up.
Boy, this is a The first time Gonzaga is going to shoot multiple free throws in the game, isn't it? Has Ben Gray got the only free throw they've shot?
Yeah, on an and one, that's it.
That's remarkable. Absolutely remarkable.
The Boilermakers have only committed 12 fouls in the game. As Timmy knocks down the first.
Yeah, I thought this could be a game where each team would shoot 20-some free throws.
Gillis wraps up the rebound.
Be a little more deliberate and run some clock, but I still think they want to keep that same attack mentality. Great cut, wide open.
And the extra pass to Morton.
Well, you look how he threw right over the double team. He just turns around and throws a diagonal pass. And that's too much ground because of that great cut into the corner.
And you know what? If you recorded hockey assists, Edey would have a bunch of them, which I guess is fitting for a Canadian.
The big maple.
The big maple. Bolton and one.
But great use of the right hand and seeking out that body contact. Just using Timmy. Look how he turns. He just turns and throws right over the double team. I mean, that's the pass that a double team wants you to throw, because usually it's going to be a lollipop. And that airtime is going to allow you to recover.
He does not have an assist in this game, but there's no question that a number of his passes have led to baskets for the Boilermakers.
Just his presence.
Yeah. Look out. Oh, that could have been a lot of things, and it eventually is a foul.
Great shoestring tackle.
Yep. By Anton Watson, saving a pick six. Again, the winner plays Duke for the championship Sunday afternoon, 3:30 Eastern on ABC. The loser will play Xavier at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN Sunday night.
Matt Painter going with the hoodie tonight. Huggins wore a hoodie last night, didn't he?
Did, yeah. Things are casual these days.
I love it. I can't wait till we start wearing hoodies. They're still talking. We got to get the players mic'd in this kind of game. I'd love to hear that conversation.
A 15-point lead for the Boilermakers. Bolton, no. Rebound, Edey.
Smith was right there, but intelligently let the big guy have it.
And the Boilermaker fans behind their bench are now on their feet. They can taste it.
As they should be. Their team has played their tails off. A block.
Yeah, yes, he did. Little pitter-patter with the feet.
It's been a relatively low turnover game.
Very low. 8 for Purdue, only 5 for Gonzaga. That was the first turnover in 15 minutes for the Boilermakers as Edey swats one away.
Now Purdue can run some clock. You don't want to go victory formation yet, but there's no reason to be in a hurry here. Ball is set out. Now here comes the high ball screen.
Morton, short. Morton gets it back and brings it back out. A wise decision.
Shot clock on an offensive rebound resets to 20.
And they'll use it. Smith into Edey for 2 more.
That's asking too much for Nolan Hickman or Rasir Bolton to have to pick up that roll. It's like trying to stop a truck going downhill. It's not going to happen.
Hickman turns it over. Morton is fouled.
Well, he's such a smart player, Ethan Morton. I thought his game against West Virginia was fantastic. Great block by Zach Edey. Goes up straight, those long arms, picking it off after he lets it go. And Rasir Bolton had no chance as the tag man to try to get in front.
That's Mom Julia there, loving the effort being put forth by her son Zach Edey.
And she's wearing a Purdue shirt, but that's a hockey jersey.
That's a hockey sweater, yes.
Sweater, come on. It's like getting on me if I say soccer instead of football.
You know, they've got a great note in the Purdue game notes too about Edey and how efficient he is per 40 minute, that sort of thing. His career, not just this year, his career numbers per 40 minutes, he's up in like David Robinson, Shaquille O'Neal territory in terms of his production. And he's still learning. And
he's only going to get better.
Yeah.
He's only going to get better. He has put in a ton of work, and you have to give that young man a lot of credit for how he has stuck with it and how Purdue has stuck with it. It's a great testament for a big guy being patient.
Look at Morton. And again, no need to rush to the basket. Final minute, 18-point lead, run some clock, and they are really starting to savor a big-time win that is forthcoming here for Purdue.
This is a Purdue team that is loaded with guys that know how to play.
Smith with 2 more. What a night he's had.
Can't believe so few places recruited that kid.
Yeah. As you said, a lot of coaches are going to be checking their notes saying, why didn't we go after that kid harder?
They're saying it already. Coaches are turning when he's lighting them up, turning to their staff going, did we recruit that kid?
Down 8 early. Purdue roars back and wins it going away. 84-66. And they have booked themselves a trip to the championship game in the Phil Knight Legacy bracket against Duke. Sunday afternoon, 3:30 Eastern on ABC.